How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the LAIR. And today I have another historic deck for you. This is a best of one build, but you can build it definitely for best of three. But anyways, I call this Setessan Walker, so let's get into it. Onto the one drops, I have 4 copies of Legion's Landing for 1 planes. When Legion's Landing enters the battlefield, we create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink, and when you attack with 3 or more creatures, transform Legion's Landing. And then it becomes a legendary land that we can tap for 1 planes, and then we can pay 2 in a planes, tap it, and create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. Onto the 2 drops, I have 4 copies of Wildgrowth Walker for 1 colorless and 1 green. He's a 1/3. Whenever a creature you control explores, put a +1/+1 counter on Wildgrowth Walker, and you gain 3 life. And then we have 4 copies of Wolfwillow Haven for 1 colorless, 1 forest. Enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional forest. And then later on, we can pay 4 in a forest, sacrifice Wolfwillow Haven, and create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Activate this ability only during your turn. Onto the 3 drops, I have 4 copies of Setessan Champion for 2 colorless and 1 forest. She's a 1/3 constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, we put a +1/+1 counter on her and Setessan Champion, and we draw a card. Onto Banishing Light, 4 copies for 2 colorless and 1 planes. It's an enchantment. When Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. I have 3 copies of History of Benalia for 1 colorless and 2 planes. It's a saga, the first part of the saga and the second part of the same. It says create 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. And then the final chapter says knights you control get +2/+1 until the end of turn. And then onto our 4 drops, I have 3 Path to Discovery for 3 colorless and 1 forest. It's also an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. And then we have 3 copies of Outlaws Merriment for 1 colorless and 1 mountain, 2 planes. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose 1 at random. Create a red-white creature token with the following characteristics: either a 3/1 human warrior with trample and haste, a 2/1 human cleric with lifelink and haste, a 1/2 human rogue with haste, and when this creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. And then 4 copies of Calix, Destiny's Hand for 2 colorless and 1 forest and 1 planes. He comes in at 4 loyalty. His +1 ability says look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put that card into your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. His -3 says exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. And then his ultimate for -7, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then on the top end, I have 3 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death for 3 colorless and 2 planes, also an enchantment saga. The first part of the saga says exile target permanent an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. The second chapter says non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And then the final part of the chapter says return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield and put a +1/+1 counter or an extra loyalty counter on it. And then 1 copy of Sigil of the Empty Throne for 3 colorless and 2 planes. It says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. So the idea is, I would say we're mid-range still, but we can have some explosive starts. The idea is we want to create a bunch of tokens. We do that by Legion's Landing. We can do that later on with Wolfwillow Haven. We create tokens with History of Benalia. We create tokens with Outlaws Merriment every turn. And then later on down the road, if we can get a Sigil out, we are also creating tokens anytime we drop an enchantment. So these creatures will then be affected, hopefully, if we have a Path of Discovery on the board by then. They will explore, and we can combo that with Wildgrowth Walker to pump him, and then to also gain life. Setessan Champion is our card draw engine, also becomes bigger over time. Banishing Light is our go-to overall defensive spell. What else? Calix can help us dig through the deck to find enchantments to play. And then if we already have an enchantment on the board, say for instance a Legion's Landing or a Wolfwillow Haven or a Banishing Light or whatever, we can exile another creature or enchantment our opponent controls until that enchantment leaves the battlefield. We can also ultimate him and return all of our enchantments to the battlefield, which can have some good effects. And yeah, the Elspeth helps us recur our threats, our planeswalkers, so that we can kind of create a loop of bringing stuff back. And yeah, that's basically the deck. Let's get into the mana base. I chose 1 plains, 1 mountain, 3 forests, 4 Clifftop Retreats, 4 Sacred Foundries, 1 Temple of Triumph, 4 Sunpetal Grove, 4 Temple Garden, and 1 Temple of Plenty. We're rocking the Vivian's Sleeve, and I have a 3.1 converted mana cost, running 8 creatures, 25 enchantments, and 23 lands. So let's go ahead and hop into some games. Let's see how we do. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Helps me out so much. Couldn't do it without you. Also, feel free to drop me a comment on misplays or strategy, deck ideas. I read the comments daily. And also, if you have any friends or family that are interested in Magic, please share the channel with them. And thanks for watching. I am excited to see what this deck can do. Well, that is if we can get a match. All right. Auto Seth. Okay, so we got a nice 3-lander here. We have all of our colors available. We have a 1-drop, we have a 2-drop, a 3-drop, into a 4-drop. I think this could have been a better hand. We're playing a Garuda Companion. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and pay out this temple here, get the Legion out. Next turn we'll play our Clifftop. I'm just going to attack here to gain some life. Next turn, depending on what my opponent plays, we'll be playing the Setessan Champion. I'm just going to play Setessan here. And I will go in with both. If he wants to trade, that's great. If not, I'll just gain a life. Let's see what he hits. Wildgrowth Walker. They always seem to get it, don't they? So funny. Oh, and Ulamog, nice. No attacks. Wow. Good game. That was pretty ridiculous, huh? Wow. All right. Appreciate the follow, Elfriend Vesco. Appreciate it. All right. Let's hop into another one. That was our opponent hit his Thassa perfectly on curve too. But that's a pretty interesting deck running Garuda with, I guess it makes sense he is even. Alright, so, got a nice 3-lander here. We're on the play, so I think what I'll do is I'll drop, we'll keep this, I will drop the temple first. Or no, do I play, so let's do this. I'm going to shock in the temple. We'll play Legion's Landing. Spliced Mines. Alright. And next turn we can temple here. Okay. Blue-white. Non-land card. Banishing Light. Okay, cool. Another Calix. I don't think we need that. No attacks. And I believe this effect is permanent for the rest of the game.
Sorry I'm late. That's more like it.
Not the creature. Interesting. So here what I'll do is I will Legion's Landing, Wolfwillow Haven, I guess on the temple here. No attacks. Deputy of Detention, nice.
Don't worry, I got this.
Just play Outlaws Merriment here.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Together we can exact justice.
I guess Elspeth is more dangerous at the moment.
Escape failures.
Yeah, let's just play another Legions. And just go in, I guess, right? I'll take 2.
No more games.
Just trying to prevent him from bouncing any of my enchantments. I don't want him to slow me down anymore than he already has. Opponent's probably also running counter spells. Search for us contact. Okay. Still has 2 land available for negate or well, if I can prevent damage, gain a little bit of life, because this thing's gonna keep pooping out. I'll play this. I will exile him until Legion's Landing ends, or leaves the battlefield, I should say. We'll go in for Fairy here. Okay. Yeah, I don't really care if he takes out the Calix now. I get him back next turn anyways. Okay. Do an additional loyalty. I always wonder why it asks that. It's like, yeah, if he's a planeswalker. So let's play. And let's go ahead and exile search. And we'll put this on Merriment to kind of spread it out. You could have a you could have like a cleansing nova to destroy all my artifacts and enchantments, which would suck. You could also have settle the wreckage, which would suck. But these little bitch boys are putting in the work here. Cool. Have a block. What are you playing? Pump spells? That's fine. These guys just keep coming, so I'll play Setessan, and then I will search for a Legion's Landing. Sure, why not?
Clothis, show me my
Yes. We'll keep the one that has the deputy under it, so we don't fuck that up. And then I just go this way. Let's do 1 damage to the face. I guess meddling the thing for meddling mage is only when he's in play. That's okay. Let's hit him with the History of Benalia. Let's plus up here. Take a path.
I am blessed by this.
So the idea behind these particular selections is to have a variety when you're facing decks like this. That's an interesting choice. Got him! Wow, I can't believe we pulled that one through. That was a good match. hop and do another one here. Appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know that was a sketchy start there. Alright, so I got a nice 3-lander here. We have all of our colors. I got a Setessan. I got some enchantments. Keep this. Since we have no 1-drop, I'm going to lead off with the Clifftop Retreat, so I can optimize my play. Alright, so opponent probably on Mardu Knights. Let's see. So I'm going to play the Forest here. We will play the Wolfwillow Haven on the Clifftop Retreat. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. That sucks. So that pretty much negated our Wolfwillow. Okay. So let's do Setessan here. Sucks. We could have done Setessan into Legion's Landing. Got a little bit of card draw. I like these card arts and stuff, but from the limited collections, but I just don't know. I want to pay $50 for 4 pieces of cardboard. It's kind of, especially right now. All right, so he's going in. He has 3 open land. Surely he's running some type of a pump spell, so I'll just take it. So this is not Knights. This is some other concoction here. I guess we want to ramp, right? Shit. So let's see here. We will do red, green. We can't do both, right? Green. Or can we? Put this on here. Okay. Path of Discovery is nice. Man, we would be fucking wrecking shit if we if we didn't have this Talia here. She's like fucking shutting it down. And that's just one more. I think she's legendary. Dauntless. No attack. Interesting. Let's do a Path to Discovery here. Okay. No attacks. Really need to pull a Wildgrowth. So I'll play a Setessan. Land, I'll take it, I guess. So we'll play the land tapped, and then we'll play another Legion's Landing. We'll get double draw. We'll just keep this one, it doesn't matter. Do I want Elspeth? Could do that to Luris, that could be nice, but no, fuck it, let's just keep it. Let's just keep it. No attacks. Oh, he quit. Why? He must not have had any removal in his hand. I always get suspect with aggro decks running white, because especially in historic, I love that Settle the Wreckage. All right. Well, this deck is definitely a blast to play. Took down the first two. See if we can keep it going. All right. So we have a nice 4-lander here. Banishing Light. Calix to help us dig. Kind of feel like this is a little slow, and I'd like to at least see a Setessan or a Wildgrowth. So I'm going to be greedy, and I'm going to mulligan this. And I get a much worse hand. Mulligan. Mulligan. Alright, there we go. Jesus. So let's take out the lanes. Elspeth and the Banishing. Jesus. It's like I mulligan to 3, dude. I'm trying to make decisions here. We'll hold off on that for now. I'll put the Wolfwillow on the Clifftop. Dan Dooley. Thought erasure. Fuck. That's awesome. Calix, that's nice. Plus him up. Get a Banishing Light. Dangerous though, opponent could have more thought erasures or agonizing remorse. What the hell is this? Fast.
I have strayed from my path.
Absolutely. I'll take a Plains. And then we'll drop this Outlaws Merriment. Opt. Okay. Well, we got land. We got land. Need some action now. They cool ball us. Alright. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, correct. Nice. Thanks. No attacks. Alright, so he's got to get to 7, I think. Yeah. And if he attacks, I'll just go in for much more damage. Well, unless I get that crappy 1-2 or whatever. Euro. That's not good. Interesting deck. Like a Euro fueled ramp to a Ravager. And a search for Escanta. Nice. Fucking land. Well, he definitely hit his draws. But I think we lost this one. I mean, it's not bad coming from a mulligan to 3. But I don't think this one's gonna happen.
Will resonate throughout the multiverse.
Guess you can have a forest.
You have no weakness I cannot exploit. Your assault is insulting. You have tasted but a drop of power.
I'm gonna take Nicole Ballas here, and then we'll go for this Nicole Ballas here. And he's getting overwhelmed by the Outlaws Merriment. Okay. He will have access to Ritual of Soot. He will have access to Cry of the Canarium. Thought Erasure. Oh, he's just surveilling. Oh, that's right, because when he exiled, he fucked himself up there. Nice. Alright, cool, cool. Also could have Stone Draft. So they have a couple board wipes in their arsenal. Getting overrun here. Oh, I'm getting lucky with these. Fucking Outlaws Merriment, man. Putting in the work. Got him! Fuck, that was awesome. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I've got to go to my son's graduation party. But anyways, one last time, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Also drop me a comment, talk about misplays, deck ideas, strategy. And then lastly, if you have any friends or family that are interested in Magic, please share the channel with them. And thanks for watching. I'm going to have the deck description in the comments. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.